The governing and financing of schools is a complex process. Democracy at work can be frustrating, as the promoters of the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School in Montgomery County, Maryland discovered. The school board must decide whether to accept or reject the proposal to create the first charter school in the county, the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School. It is clear from the hearings that not everyone is pleased with the plan for this new school. It's been 3 years since the community members initiated the charter school proposal, and no decision has yet been reached. In the meeting you are about to see, the board has been asked a second time to accept or reject the application. As the school board studied the application, it developed a procedure for evaluating charter school applications, including sessions that allow individuals and groups to voice their opinions. This meeting begins with an overview of the procedure used to study the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School. Note that many special interest groups have a stake in this decision-making process.
The charter school application process was managed out of my office, which is the Deputy Superintendent of Schools office. And we pulled together a Blue Ribbon panel and sent forth to the superintendent recommendations pertaining to the outcome of that Blue Ribbon panel. The application process took over 2 years, and this year we decided to streamline that application process to develop a cogent plan to be able to review all aspects of this process. We received one application this year, the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School application. As I mentioned, the review process, using the rubric, strongly looked at the academic design, the governance of this program, of the school, as well as the facilities, where would the school be located, and how it will be financed and operated, and the total operation procedures that were included in this process.
Advocates of the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School outline key elements of their school's vision aimed largely at a minority population of underachieving mid-level students in danger of not meeting their full potential. The group's proposal includes who will be served, what the mission will be, where the site might be established, when timelines can be realized, and what projected barriers remain.
Over the last 2 to 3 years, and it's almost been 3 years that I've been working on this, I've come to the conclusion that the only way a group like mine will successfully open a charter school in this county is when the board is prepared to sit down and work with us directly. Sure, we're asking you to do something new and different, but I see no other solution. We have come to you with a pretty solid plan to open a new school. In fact, the last time we were here at this table, back in March of 2000, Superintendent Weiss said as much and recommended that you conditionally approve our application. I think this application is 10 times better than that application. My favorite statement from the Blue Ribbon panel is, there is nothing in the application, nor did anything surface in the discussion, that identified the unique characteristics of the school. Nada. Nothing. I don't expect the reviewers to like us or to love us. I do, however, think honesty is important. So we're back where we were, I think, in March of 2000. Today I ask you again to conditionally accept our application, grant us a charter. The actual school, however, would not open until all the key contractual arrangements of the school have been resolved. These key arrangements will be outlined jointly at our first contractual meeting. There is absolutely nothing stopping the board from doing this.
Dr. Inez Cifuentes discusses student test score disparities that exist across the county. She focuses on the achievement gap, particularly for students of color. Dr. Cifuentes reviews the rigorous academic program for Jaime Escalante Public Charter School and the school vision, a small school where the teachers and staff will really know students. An emphasis on instruction will directly counter an attitude that to succeed in academics is to look white. They promise that school management will be both philosophically and fiscally sound. A management council will be responsible for the school's administration. all supervised by a principal or executive director who will additionally teach classes. Ariana Quiñones, Education Director at the National Council of La Raza, introduces their organizational support for new charter schools and their ongoing work to promote academic achievements for students of color, especially dual language learners.
So we got into the charter school business for very practical reasons, not for ideological reasons. We really believe in traditional public schools and the importance, and we know that 90% of Latino students are in the traditional public schools. But in some communities where the traditional public schools have the challenges in meeting the needs of the changing demographics, the charters have really been an answer, and a successful answer. So we now have approximately 30 charter schools in our network, and the network itself has been a benefit to the charter schools, because since they're traditionally not part of the district, or not the same way a traditional public school would be, they operate sort of in isolation. So having this network provides peer-to-peer mentoring, it provides a real support group for charter schools that are starting up. One of the issues is, this may be a new term, but diseconomies of scale that charter schools face because they tend to be very small. So being part of our network also provides some support in that arena. I'm just going to quickly give you sort of the 3 points of the initiative. We provide support to charter schools in several ways. First is through operating and facilities-related grants and loans. Second, through on-site technical assistance. And third, through professional development opportunities.
The board's appointed Blue Ribbon panel responded to the charter's first application in spring 2001. Thus, certain revisions and clarifications by the charter group resulted in a more persuasive application. In this segment, panel members outlined their remaining concerns and identified several additional problems. Questions regarding partnerships with the county school board and outside resource groups, where the school will be located, concerns about finances, and some uncertainty about the school's unique purpose.
The application states that this charter school will, quote, raise the bar and close the gap, end quote, in a laboratory environment. Yet, the application does not tell the reader how these features are different, or, I use the term unique here, from what already occurs in the district. This point is raised because the idea of the school is predicated upon the author's perceived inability of the Montgomery County Public Schools to deliver adequate academic services to the, quote, average, end quote, student. Ambition. The school is to enroll average or ordinary students and require them to pass every grade with a C or better. Our question, how is this different from the Montgomery County Public School expectations? There are many support programs for students who earn a C or lower already in existence. How will this program differ?
The Blue Ribbon panel expresses serious doubts about the application. Too little attention is being given to legal, professional, ethical, and academic concerns of students. Then there are real practical problems, like differences in opening and closing times, summer school schedules, and extracurricular programming. The reviewers are also troubled by a plan to co-locate the school, to share space with a larger and already established school site. School board members were invited to make comments and ask questions about the Jaime Escalante Public Charter School. Several comments illustrate the cautious role of board members and the significance of every vote to approve or disapprove the application.
And I guess where I'm somewhat troubled by the evaluation of the panel is, to me, the uniqueness that was presented was essentially putting your money where your mouth is to all the rhetoric that we have in the system of saying, we have high expectations for every kid. There's no such thing as a kid that can't learn. All right? So if you have that expectation, what are the ways you test it? And as I read the uniqueness of the proposal, what the proposal was saying is, fine, we're going to use that rigorous standard. Only we're going to let kids that normally don't get a chance to participate in that program participate in it.
Thank you,
and we're going to let the chips fall where they may.
Somebody finally is getting what we're saying.
Now, I'm merely, I'm stating that as to a differentiation on the uniqueness issue. I really had some difficulty with not seeing what was unique because I've been after the idea of replicating this program and offering it to more and more students and letting kids get their feet wet and get involved with it, even if they get a C, even if they fail, but the rigor in it, right? And either prove the validity of the statement that we have, that any kid can learn, if you have high enough expectations, and if you provide some supports in that kind of a program, or go to a different strategy based on reality.
And honestly, I know that I have very qualified principals who are very capable of running schools, who are certified to do that. And I'm not sure who, well, I do know who, but I didn't see that same level of qualifications of a person to run your school that I was looking for as well. I do agree that we can't wait forever to increase the number of African Americans and Hispanic kids that are taking honors and AP courses and things like that. But I can assure you that those numbers have increased, and in some schools, in some cases, increased significantly. And if you don't believe me, go to John F. Kennedy High School and talk to Dr. Sheila Dobbins. And I think she'll point these numbers out to you, where African American participation has significantly been increased in the number of honors and AP courses, and also the number of tests in those AP courses that are taken.
Given the complexities of governing and financing schools, how do you anticipate what the board decided? What further information or studies would you need or want to make a decision? Take time to discuss this matter and predict an outcome. Let's see the Montgomery County School Board's decision on the Jaime Escalante Public Charter Schools application.
I'm going to move a possible solution, but I want to preface it and indicate where I'm coming from on it. I don't want to use terms conditional approval or any of that kind of stuff. I think what's been going on back and forth for a long time is that people have been speaking around each other. That you have a vision of what you want to accomplish, we have a vision of what our expectation is, and never the twain is met. Everything has been why we can't do it rather than why we can do it. So the intent of my motion is to outline something that says, if you guys are interested in joining with us to try to accomplish this, we keep on going. And if you're not interested in trying to accomplish this, then we decide what we want to do.
By that, do you mean, for example, we would be one of the options in the downtown
situation? No, I'm not saying, no, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. But I want to keep you in suspense for a minute longer. So, I love the curriculum, I love the idea. I want it co-located. I would love that. All right? I don't want it in one location, I want it in two locations. I want you to co-locate the middle years program in the middle school, and I want you to co-locate the IB program in the high school, and that portion of middle years that is pre-IB will be done in the high school, because that way I'm not competing with space. I don't overload the system with what people were talking about earlier, becoming too big. I want it starting out on a scale to make sure we don't overload. Right? And so I want some agreement on the scale as to what we try. I want about a 6-year experiment on this thing, so that we have some commitment that we're going to follow this thing through. So for when the kids that come in 6th grade, we see what happens with them all the way through 12th, and we're committed to do that. If there's a willingness for the board and the group to flush these things out, then I'd move that we in fact give whatever it's called to let that process take place, and that we come back here in 30 days to see if in fact that agreement is hammered out and the formal motion is done at that time.
We're in the middle of budget season, where I'm very concerned about staff even taking on a project like this. But also, this isn't the application process that we advertised.
And Mrs. King, Mrs. King, I will submit something to you. I think what we've seen up to this point is that the application process has led to a lot of rhetoric but no solutions.
Okay, make a finite motion.
I just made the finite motion.
Second? I'll second it. Okay, all those in favor? Mr. Jeter, Mr. Abrams, Mrs. O'Neill, Mr. Lang, and Mrs. Fox. Opposed? Mr. Felter, Mrs. King, and Mr. Burnett. Okay.
Given the board's decision, what action steps do you suspect occurred in the next 30 days? How do you think the board officers, board members, district personnel, Blue Ribbon Panel members, and Jaime Escalante Public Charter School organizers felt at the conclusion of this meeting?